mindset.
Growth mindset versus fixed mindset.
Let's talk about growth mindset.
A growth mindset.
If I have a growth mindset,
A growth mindset. It is called the growth mindset.
it's all about growth mindset.
What is a mindset?
A growth mindset is when somebody believes they can learn to be good.
This is it right here, the foundation you need to change your life. Mindset by Carol Dweck. That's what we're talking about today. Maybe you've heard of the fixed mindset or the growth mindset, but there's another one I'm going to introduce today that ties this all together. There are so many factors that go into having a growth mindset. It isn't as easy and straightforward as you might think. And in this video, I'm gonna start with sharing some of my favorite quotes, and then we're gonna dive into exactly what a fixed mindset is, what a growth mindset is, and false growth mindset concepts. You might think you have a growth mindset, but you might not actually have one, and that could be a problem. Becoming is better than being. I get chills every time I hear this one. This is the quote for the entire book. It's all about loving the fact that we can learn and we can put effort towards something and we can grow. Life is about becoming, not just being something. It's about becoming something. And truthfully, you should always be becoming. Here's quote number 2 that summarizes the book beautifully. This is something I know for a fact. You have to work hardest for the things you love most. You can't just really sit in a chair and just imagine it and it's going to happen. Although yes, there's great benefits of sitting and visualizing things, but the reality is you still are going to have to work really, really hard for the things that you love. Here's the third quote from the book. What any person in the world can learn, almost all persons can learn, if provided with the appropriate prior and current conditions of learning. And simply this says, if someone can learn it or someone can do it, so can you. Here is the foundation of the book. She doesn't have any horrible drawings in the book. This is you, and this is a rock. This is you stuck in a rock. The best way to remember this is that you believe you are set in stone. That's it. You've been carved out, you're done. So what's really the point in trying? Like, why would you learn to sing? Yeah, you want to sing, but why would you learn to sing? Like, you're not a singer, or you're not an artist, or you're not creative. This is the fixed mindset, when you think that you are a certain way forever. This one was especially pertinent for me. Like, how many people were like, oh, my parents were just like this, so I'm like this too. I always used to believe this my whole life. I was like, my dad had like a short temper, so I have a short temper. No, not how it works at all, unless you believe in a fixed mindset. If you have a growth or a fixed mindset, it determines how you see yourself. If you have a fixed mindset and you fail at something, your self-worth takes a hit because you just believe that's the way you are, carved in stone. If you have a perception of a growth mindset, your self-worth only improves with failure and challenge because you see it as learning. Now, the key aspect of people who have a growth mindset, they always see themselves at a starting line of something. If they have a talent that they're just learning, they see that they're, oh, I'm just at the starting line. I'm just learning this. I'm not good at this. The way to get better is through challenge and effort and growth and strategies and practice and believing that you can get better. Success. How does the person with a fixed mindset see success? They see it as their innate talent. They're like, yeah, I was successful at that because I was born for this shit. Like, I was made for this. Somebody with a growth mindset just says, I learned. I'm successful because I put in the time and the effort. Or somebody with a growth mindset who sees effort as, this is I am learning. This is the one we always see, and I still struggle with this, and I know you do too, especially if you're watching this video, is failure. It's so difficult because people are like, just embrace failure. It's okay, it's good for you, it's gonna feel great. No, it fucking hurts. It's embarrassing. You're hot and you're sweaty and people are laughing at you. So failure is an opportunity to learn. It's hard and it hurts, and that's okay. It takes time because you might have a fixed mindset where failure means, similar to the one up above, if you need to try, it means you're just not made for it. And if you fail, it means you suck at it. Feedback hurts because it means you as a person are not good. Feedback for Somebody with a growth mindset, it means that it's advice to get better. But a fixed mindset is always trying to avoid that uncomfortable feeling that says, oh, I failed, I'm bad at this. The growth mindset person does truly seek out failure. Not necessarily in the sense that they want to fail, but they seek out challenging situations because they understand that challenge equals growth. Here are the identities. The fixed mindset says, you are who you are. This is it, you were born this way, this is it. And this, the growth mindset, is a learner. Nobody ever talks about this. And this is the single most important thing, or one of the most important things about understanding a mindset, is it's domain specific. You could have dozens of different mindsets, maybe even hundreds. It depends on the situation. Learning, sports, leadership, creativity. You could have a fixed mindset in one area and a growth mindset in another, and vice versa. All of these different ones. It's so important to understand this. I've mentioned this in a previous video. I saw this author on many podcasts talking about, like, here are some confidence tricks. If you want to be really confident and you want people to like you, you need to like people. And if you want to have extra power, you need to look at somebody at the end of your sentence. I fucking hate these things because they're just shitty, stupid little hacks. If you want confidence, this is it. You can have endless confidence, confidence for life. It'll just be pouring out of your ears. That's it forever. If you have a growth mindset in the things that you do, if you truly believed that getting rejected and failure was learning, how could you not be insanely confident forever? You would be so confident because whether you succeed or whether you quote unquote fail, you would just be learning and getting better. Like, that is endless confidence. Accept rejection and you will be confident about anything in any situation ever. You can become rich and wealthy and the top of your field with either mindset, a fixed or a growth mindset. But the difference is this: the fixed mindset is always pursuing the outcome, the result, money, fame, accolades, but you're always chasing this. So when that gets taken away, you collapse. One of my favorite words these days, enthusiasm. If you really love what you're doing, you're going to have energy, you're going to bring more focus and attention. You're enthusiastic about doing it. So no matter what happens, if things don't come your way and you don't get the money and the fame, you're still enthusiastic. So you're going to become successful. This reminds me of something that Mark Manson said in The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, of most people become successful because they don't believe that they're incredibly talented. They believe that they're not talented. So they try harder. And because they try harder and enjoy doing the thing, that's what leads to success. Find what you're enthusiastic about. You have things. What you might have heard so often is hate comes from below, but that's not true. So we hear this, right? It's people trying to reach up and pull you down because, when people see you succeeding, it makes them look at their lives and be like, those are things I could have done, but I didn't do it. And they don't like that, so they try to pull you down. It's called the crab mentality. But we all know that there are people up ahead of us who are successful, and they look at other people who are successful and they shit on them too. Why though? People with a fixed mindset only chase the outcomes, the result. So if your results are better, it comes back and it affects their person, their self-worth, that they feel inferior. So somebody even down here below you might be supporting you if they have a growth mindset. Next time somebody's hating on you or trying to, pull you down or just shit on you, it doesn't mean that they're below you or above you or anywhere around you. It just means that they have a fixed mindset. If you just believed that someone was more successful, like because they put in more time and effort, what would you be mad about? There's nothing to be upset about or try to drag them down. You would just think, oh yeah, all they did was put in more time and effort than I did. So remember that next time somebody's trying to shit on you and pull you down. Fixed or growth mindsets come from childhood. How do children actually learn? There are 3 ways. The first one is, we all know praise, like, oh yeah, good job. I call it the tyranny of good job. If I hear those words, I cringe as a child, and you want that feeling. When you do something and someone's like, yeah, good job, you chase that. It's like a high that you're always going to chase. Are you praising the outcome or the effort? Are we saying, oh yeah, you studied really hard, you tried your best, you really put in effort, and that effort leads to a good outcome? Sounds so obvious, but when a child makes a mistake, we usually yell at them. Or that's what most parents did in the past. That was the age that I was brought up in. You make a mistake, you get yelled at and you get punished, and you get grounded and sent to your room. You might even get a spanking. So the child learns that anytime they make a mistake, they get punished. So what are they going to do? Avoid mistakes. But what did we talk about? Mistakes and failures are good things, really good. They are the best things. This one, the third one, absolutely crushes my soul, because this is what the normal education system does all the time. I know things are changing, but this is it. We were always taught you learn these things to memorize it, to get a grade on a test. And what happens to all that information? Gone. But when we teach children to understand, that's when they actually learn and develop a growth mindset. And this one kills me. Now, I'm not a parent, but if you are a parent or you're thinking of being a parent, please never say this to children. Why do I have to do my homework? Because I said so. There's no answer, there's no understanding. So the kid is just left on an island. Teach children to understand, to think for themselves, especially now, today more than ever with AI, social media everywhere, just their brains being hijacked. If they don't understand anything or can't question anything, it's going to lead to catastrophe. Telling students that they were smart made them feel dumber and act dumber, but claim that they were smarter. It's the language that we use that is so important. Here are 4 simple ones you can use. I call them dinner table conversations. Whoops, too easy. Let's try something harder that you can actually learn from. So what did you learn that was hard or challenging? What mistake did you make that you learned from? What did you try hard at? Effort, challenge, tie it together. That's the whole idea. If you use these 4, just keep them in your back pocket. That's it. It's really that simple, but using that language over and over. Now here is the third mindset that no one ever talks about. And it comes from Ali Crum from Stanford and her colleagues, but it's called the stress mindset. Now, most of us think that stress is a bad thing, but it's not. Stress is actually, in the right context, a very good thing. Of course, if you're just stressing about life and money and circumstances and relationships and conflicts and all of these things, yes, that's not helpful. But used the right way, with the right mindset, with the growth mindset, stress is incredibly helpful. This is the couple that you need to pair together. It's not just having the effort. It's not just the time, the effort, the practice, the strategy. You must also believe. You have to believe that this stress, this emotional response is actually enhancing your growth and learning. So you need to put in the effort, and you need to believe that that effort is helping you, that discomfort is actually a good thing. Believing that stress is a good thing is a good thing. This is probably the single most important part of the book to understand, and I know I personally made mistakes with this, is the false growth mindset. It's basically the growth mindset trap, thinking you have a growth mindset, but you really don't. The first one is taking qualities you like about yourself. So be very careful about what you're choosing and saying that you have a growth mindset. Just being an open-minded person, flexible, easygoing, is not a growth mindset. A growth mindset is focused on the process of growing and learning. I used to do this all the time with my nephews and always just praise the effort, like good effort, you know, way to work hard, you tried really hard, but it's not just the effort. The growth mindset is more specific. This would probably summarize the growth mindset entirely, is that it's effort. Of course, you need to try really hard, and strategy. You need to have plans, you need to have a direction and some clarity for where you're going, and you need to to like feedback and see feedback as help, and you need to be able to reach out for help and know how to get the right help. And again, not in the book, but this is imperative as well. You need to have the stress is enhancing mindset to make this whole growth mindset work. You have to praise the effort and the outcome. The person, whether it's you or your children or the people you're teaching, must see that the outcome came from the effort. So just saying, hey, good effort, doesn't help necessarily. Of course, it's saying like hard work works, but we know in reality that just hard work doesn't always work. You need to do the right hard work to get the outcome. So it's saying good effort on making that happen. You tried really hard to get that outcome. It's tying those two together. Just telling children or people that they can do anything is not the growth mindset. It's about helping them find the resources and the effort within themselves to reach their desired goals. It has nothing to do with telling them that they can do or be anything. It's helping them do or be anything that they want to become. Number 5, I've mentioned this one before, is the biggest problem with a false growth mindset is just thinking that, oh yeah, you have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset and that's it. No, we have mixed mindsets depending on the situation, the circumstances, abilities, or talents. So it's about finding where each mindset comes out. Maybe it's relationships, you have one kind of mindset. Finances, you have another mindset. And finding out how you have a fixed mindset in one area and how you can change that into a growth mindset, which is everything we just covered, so you know how to do that now. If you're enjoying these book breakdowns, you can join my weekly newsletter in the link in the description, where I send out weekly tips and methods you can use to change your life. And also, if you want more insights, you can check out my website, also in the link down below, and go deeper on the written book breakdowns where I share everything and all of the information. A growth mindset is absolutely life-changing, and it truly is so simple. It's one of those things where you're like, really? This is so obvious. Of just, do you believe that you can change? Do you believe that your brain is neuroplastic and you can rewire things? And I think most of us now believe that yes, we can, but there are little nuances in how we do it, and the younger generation and children and the language that we use and the little details, and also the other part that I introduced, which is the stress is enhancing mindset, and how important that is to tie that into this book. Should you still read this book in 2025? Yes, absolutely. It will not hurt you. It will only solidify more information that the key is believing that growth comes from learning and effort and strategy and getting feedback from people and asking for help and using the right language and the right kind of praise for yourself and for others. This book is necessary. Now on to my contrarian takes, the things that I didn't like so much about the book, which is strange because I just said it was a life-changing must-read, and I still believe that 100%, but there are some things, not every book is absolutely perfect, and hey, we can all grow from learning things like this. The first one is, it felt a little bit repetitive in parts, because to be honest, the idea is very simple. It's a growth mindset and a fixed mindset, and throughout the entire book, those are the two concepts that she constantly breaks down, and she breaks them down into different examples, like how to use a growth mindset in sports, and how to use it in leadership, and how to use it in schools and parenting, which is all great, but they are just repetitive examples in many cases, and the stories that she gives will lead me to number 2. Sometimes there's too many examples. There could have been fewer examples, and that leads me to the next point. The examples felt like they were forced in there. Like she gives the idea and then she needs to give all these examples, and it could feel a little bit messy at times. So my simple advice is absolutely, without a doubt, read the book. But you can scan through parts that don't relate to you. Like if you're not trying to be a world-class athlete in sports, you could probably skip that chapter number 5, I believe it is. But if you're trying to be a better leader, you can go to that chapter and read it, so you're not repeating these different scenarios that might not be relevant for you. Other than that, the book's pretty good. As always, I like to leave you with actionable takeaways, because what is the point of reading the book if we don't actually do things that we learn from the book in reality? And the first one is this: find your mindsets. Normally I would say sit down and journal and find out, hey, I have a mindset here, but this one comes better in reality, living life and just becoming aware of your fixed or your growth mindset, or even the stress is enhancing or stress is debilitating mindset. Paying attention to that. Then once you identify them, you can start to adjust your language around any fixed mindset that you might have. And the best way to do that are simple sentences like, what can I learn from this? How can I improve from this mistake or failure? What help can I seek to get better in this area of my life? Next, this might be the single most important thing. One word, the power of yet. I'm not good at this yet. I don't know how to do this yet. It's so simple. I preach this forever. Put yet at the end of every sentence that you can, wherever it fits. Next, one challenge, one goal. Pick an area in your life that you believe you have a fixed mindset, and then that's your challenge for the next 30 days. You're going to set a goal, a place where you want to be. Get very clear on what's that supposed to look like for you. So next, practice praising. And this goes back to, obviously, these right here, 2 and 3. If you use yet, that's fantastic praising. But all the things we talked about before is no more good job, no more you are so smart. Pay attention to when that's coming out of your mouth and stop saying that and replace it with the other things that we talked about before, and the right praising. Oh, you tried so hard to get this result. Oh, you put in so much effort and this is how you got rewarded with this result. Oh, that was too easy for you. Let's try something harder that you can actually learn from. And these are the ways that you can truly embrace and live a life with a growth mindset. Here is the final one-sentence summary from the book. I suck, but with time, effort, strategy, practice, and help, I will improve. And I think this is so important because so many of us do not want to embrace or accept the fact that we suck at something that we're new at, something that we want to learn. So many of us still want that effortless mastery where we just step into something and we're like, okay, I'm good at this right away. Like you just go play a sport or anything, you just walk right in and you're like, boom, nailed it. But no, this is it. We have to accept the fact that we suck, and that's okay. Because with the right formula, we will all improve at whatever we do. It was published about 20 years ago in 2006, and it revolutionized. Man, sometimes getting started on these things is so hard. Mindset possible. There are so many that you can use to change your life. This isn't so hard for me sometimes.